Zena left work early to take her disabled son to the doctor. At that time of day, finding a taxi was difficult, so she decided to walk. Suddenly, a car pulled up beside her. "Hello," the driver said with a friendly smile. "I'm new to this city. Could you help me find this address?" The driver held out a small piece of paper. Zena glanced at it and gave the directions. "Are you waiting for someone?" the driver asked casually. "Oh no," she replied. "Just trying to find a taxi. I can take you to your destination if you'd like." Zena hesitated for a moment, then smiled and accepted. She opened the door and got into the car. It pulled away smoothly from the curb. Along the way, she spoke softly to her son on the phone, her voice full of tenderness. "I'm coming home, my dear," she said again and again, as if the words could comfort him from afar. The man stopped the car suddenly. His wife turned to him and asked, "What happened?" "I think one of the tires is flat," he replied. "I missed the flight. I'm already late," she said anxiously. "Don't worry, we're near the airport," he reassured her. Then he got out of the car to fix the tire. Without hesitation, he started to fix the flat tire. The woman, stressed and anxious about missing her flight, climbed out of the car and shouted to her husband, "If you can't fix it, no one on this lonely road is going to help us. Don't worry, I'll finish it in 20 minutes. That seemed to calm her. She began pacing, trying to collect herself. But then she saw something. She froze. Her breath caught in her throat. Her eyes widened in disbelief. She couldn't believe what she was looking at. Then she heard her husband's voice from behind the car. "It's ready. We can go." She turned to face him. Her body was trembling, her lips parted, but no words came out. She got into the car in silence. For days after that moment, the young woman battled with herself. The image of what she had seen haunted her, keeping her awake, gnawing at her conscience. Finally, unable to bear the weight of it any longer, she picked up the phone. Her fingers shook as she dialed the number. "Police Station 115. "I want to report the mysterious killer," the woman said, her voice trembling. "I think it was the killer. I saw the killer. I saw the car. It was a green Chevrolet." Then she hung up. For a long time, the city had been plagued by a murderer who robbed people of their sleep and peace. A serial killer whose victims were mostly women, and whose crimes had turned the area near the airport into a graveyard of secrets. Corpses had been found, more than one, always women, all stabbed, brutally, all discarded like shadows in the dark. Authorities believed the killer came from the middle class, blending seamlessly into society. The killer appeared ordinary, calm, polite, but behind that mask was a fractured mind, twisted by hatred and humiliation. The killer suffered from deep psychological disorders. The crimes were driven by a corrosive hatred of women, fed by repeated failures in the personal life. The driver planned every murder meticulously, leaving almost nothing behind. The green Chevrolet had become his favorite tool, an instrument of deception, a symbol of false comfort. With a warm smile and friendly demeanor, the killer would offer rides, and with smooth words and promises, the driver would lure them into the car, then would take them to isolated places, quiet roads, abandoned buildings, and strangle them with a white rope. That rope became the signature, the mark. Cold, silent, final. The precision made the killer almost impossible to catch. The driver knew how to vanish without a trace. The killer knew how to read weakness, how to take advantage of fear and hope, and for months the driver had outwitted the law. But now, someone had seen that killer. And whether she knew it or not, Zena had just changed everything. Alina Ward stood before the mirror in her dimly lit apartment, the soft glow of the bedside lamp casting a golden hue over her features. Her long chestnut hair flowed in waves down her shoulders, and her hazel eyes, calm yet determined, stared back at her reflection. She slipped on the crimson dress slowly, almost ritualistically. It clung to her figure in all the ways she hated, but tonight she wasn't dressing for herself. She was becoming someone else. She stepped out of the apartment, heels clicking sharply against the pavement. The air was cool, the city quiet in that tense way it sometimes was before something terrible happened. She walked with purpose, heading straight for the killer's favorite hunting ground. It was always the same type of victim: lonely women, alone, dressed to be noticed, sitting at the bus stop. Alina took her seat at one of those bus stops, the flicker of a broken street lamp above casting shadows across her face. Her heart remained steady, trained, but her fingers toyed with the rim of her glasses, a subtle, calculated signal of vulnerability. Minutes passed, then an hour. No sign. She stood, stretching as if impatient, and slowly made her way to a nearby street, a little busier, a little brighter. Somewhere he might feel bolder. Just as doubt began to flicker at the edge of her thoughts, a presence slipped in beside her. Silent. Heavy. "Hello, I'm sorry. Are you from this city?" said a smooth, low voice. She turned toward the voice. A man stood there, appearing ordinary, middle-class, polite, confident, just like she'd imagined. "Yes, I'm from the city," Alina replied calmly. "I'm new here. I don't know the area well. Would you mind helping me find this address?" He handed her a small slip of paper. "Of course," she said, glancing at it. It looked like a legitimate address, generic enough not to raise suspicion. "Are you waiting for someone?" he asked. "Yes. Actually, I'm looking for a taxi, but I haven't had much luck. If you'd like, I can give you a lift." She hesitated for only a moment, then smiled faintly. "Oh, thanks. That would be helpful." They got into the car. It started smoothly. He smiled, though she couldn't see it. She felt it, in her bones. "Mind if I turn on some music?" he asked. "No, I don't mind." The car rolled forward into the road. After several minutes, the surroundings grew unfamiliar, quieter. The buildings thinned, and the road stretched toward the airport. Alina glanced out the window, her voice steady but laced with suspicion. "Near the airport? This isn't the way to my address." The man turned his head slightly. His tone was light, almost amused. "I told you, I'm not from this city." Alina looked at him again. His eyes were dark, unreadable. There was no obvious threat in his expression, only charm. But beneath that charm, something flickered, something rehearsed, like a man wearing the skin of someone he pretended to be. But what the man didn't know was that Alina knew everything. She wasn't some lost, fragile woman in a red dress. She was Detective Alina Ward, one of the most decorated investigators on the force, and she had been assigned his case from the start. A low voice buzzed through her earpiece. "You don't have to do this, Alina. This guy's already killed 5 women. He's unpredictable. Remember, he's a serial killer." But the trap had worked. She was the perfect projection of the women he hunted. Vulnerable, alone, tempting. Alina adjusted the strap of her handbag casually. Inside, a concealed microphone transmitted every word. A tiny tracker was sewn into the lining, and strapped to her thigh beneath the crimson dress was a backup gun, hidden but ready. Her lips curled into the faintest smile. "I have to do this," she whispered back. "He's exactly who we've been looking for." Alina's calm cracked like thin ice. She was no longer a prey, she was a hunter. Her earpiece buzzed. Sergeant Miller's voice came sharp and steady. "We're close, Alina. Ready when you are." She took a deep breath. Tires screeched. 2 police cars roared in, blocking the Chevrolet's path. Alina's gun pressed to the man's temple, steady and unforgiving. "Don't move." He froze, then obeyed. In the days that followed, the city held its breath. The man, once a faceless nightmare, was revealed as a man broken by betrayal and bitterness. Confessions spilled out. Bankruptcy, a wife who demanded he transfer assets to her name, then a divorce that shattered his last ties to normalcy. His green Chevrolet, once a symbol of freedom, had become a vessel of horror. The trial was swift, but the scars remained. The city's nightmares didn't vanish with the verdict. For Alina, the hunt was over, but the shadows still whispered. And in the quiet moments when the streetlights flickered, she wondered, how many more were still out there? The courtroom emptied, but the silence inside Alina Ward's apartment was heavier than any verdict. She sat by the window, the city lights flickering below like distant stars. Her hands rested on the worn leather of her handbag, the same bag that had carried her through that night. The memory of the green Chevrolet, The man behind the wheel, the gun pressed to his temple. It all felt like a shadow etched deep inside her. Justice had been served, yes, but the cost was immeasurable. She thought of the victims, 5 women whose lives were stolen, their stories forever unfinished. Their faces haunted her dreams, their voices whispered on the wind. Alina knew the darkness was never fully defeated. There would always be another shadow waiting, another desperate soul lost to rage or pain. But she was ready, because in this city, beneath the flickering streetlights and silent alleys, one thing remained certain. There would always be someone standing guard, someone who wouldn't turn away. Alina Ward was that someone, and she would keep hunting the darkness, no matter the cost.